Don't forget, the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report wants to see your photos. Head to our Facebook page and upload your best for your chance to be featured right here on the show. And if you'd like to be part of our audience, you can register there as well. Rick, now you're hanging out with one of our good friends from the Florida Lottery.
You know, Lauren, thanks. And I'm here with Tom Dolan from the Florida Lottery. And Tom, the last time you were with us, we had just launched the Guy Harvey scratch-off ticket. How's it going?
Well, in a word, Rick, swimmingly.
Oh, we're swimming.
It's doing great. 5.1 million over the first 3 weeks, $1 million to public education. It's doing awesome.
That's great. And that's the cool part about all that. The educational side is certainly going to benefit these kids going down the road in the future.
Oh, no doubt. Every time, Rick, we go to work, we generate about $3 million for public education in the state of Florida. That's every day. So $1 billion a year. And that's what we're working for is these kids here.
Now, Tom, I know that the first drawing for the second chance has happened. What do we got going on with that?
It did. It happened this week. We had a winner that's going to St. Pete to the Guy Harvey Outpost. And we have 3 more drawings yet to go. We're going to send somebody to Panama City, Panama, Islamorada, Florida, and the granddaddy of them all, Grand Cayman Island, to fish with Dr. Harvey.
Can you give us any additional information, Tom, when it comes to the contributions and what happens when it comes to the educational side?
Sure. Since 1988, we've generated $25 billion to public education in the state of Florida. The beneficiaries of that, public school construction, renovation, student loan programs, something that we're very, very proud of, and something we hope that many of these kids are enjoying down the road are Bright Future scholarships. 600,000 kids have gone to college in the state of Florida, some of which may never have had the opportunity if it wasn't for the Bright Future program.
Well, that's unbelievable numbers. You know, Tom, the thing that I really need to emphasize now, guys, if they don't win on the scratch-off,
right,
how many second chance drawings are we going to have over the period of this contest?
Well, we have 3 more ending August 21st. They're spanned throughout the summer. So the 3 trips that we mentioned, but if you don't have a trip that you win, we're giving away Dr. Harvey artwork, gift cards to GuyHarvey.com. So there's many, many secondary and third prizes to go. So there's plenty of opportunities. So if you have a non-winning experience with your ticket, go to FLALottery.com, register your ticket, and hopefully you'll be a lucky winner.
Tom, thank you so
Always a
much
pleasure,
for coming
Rick.
to see us at the IGFA Museum and Hall of Fame. And I got to tell you, Lauren, these kids are awesome, and I'm so excited about having this kid show this week. I can't tell you.
No, I bet so. And Jim, how cool that all the kids are there. And these are the people that the Florida Lottery Guy Harvey ticket's benefiting with all those education programs.
Every one of those kids that wants to go to college is going to benefit them.
That's right. Am I too old for one of those scholarships? I wonder.
I need a scholarship.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on now to the Yeti Northwest region. Captain Jeff Hageman, let's talk about why it's important to get the kids out fishing.
I tell you what, it's one of my favorite things to do, and it's why the most memorable charters I have are usually with kids. We've got hundreds of parks, piers, miles of shoreline. Get them out of the house. Get out there. If you're not a fisherman, there's plenty of seminars you can go to and learn how to fish. You can go ask your local fishermen out there at the fishing piers. They'll help you out if you got kids. I mean, everybody's usually really willing to help. There's a lot of clubs. Get out there. Make some lasting memories. Some of my greatest memories growing up with my dad are out there fishing, and some of the stories we share and still have are fishing. So it's important to get them out there and get them away from the computer.
Cool. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Right now, inshore, I got tarpon fishing going on strong throughout my region right now. You want to look for fish along the coast. You want to look for rolling fish and finning fish first thing in the morning and late afternoon. The boat traffic's going to die that down, so get out there early, stay out there a little later. Crabs have been working real well, thread fins or Pala Leiden wraps working good, DOA bait busters, all that stuff is real good on the beach. Fly rod, always a plus. Right now we're coming up on this moon this weekend, and the crabs are going to be flowing real good out of Egmont, so there'll be tarpon lining up to eat all those. So dip up a few crabs on the afternoon tides and drift them out on the tide. Look for fish popping and rolling, and get in front of them and just drift out with the tide. That's a great way to catch those right now. Offshore, mangrove snapper bite remains strong throughout the region and going to get stronger on this moon. They're out there getting ready to spawn, so look for fish concentrated on high relief structures. Take lots of chum out there with you. Anchor up, night of the structure, chum heavily, You want to use as light a leader as possible to get as many bites as possible, smallest hook you can get away with, depending on the bait you're using. Shrimp and sardines have been working real well on a hookup jig. And also offshore, I've got gag and red grouper. The bite's been really good right now, and anywhere from 70 to 130 feet of water. The reds have been on flat rock. The gags have been on ledges and rock piles. Limits of fish have been very easy to obtain. Reds and gags, both up to 12 feet, and plenty of them out there. Cut sardines, live pinfish on a standard bottom rig is what you want to use.
Sounds like this full moon is going to have a lot of fish moving in your region, Jeff. I appreciate that report. That was fantastic. I'm going to take it from here. The Drummond Community Bank hotspots. Captain Jeffrey Hageman says you need to check out snook along the beaches and passes, and you want to drift a pinfish on the outgoing tide. And for you offshore guys, like he was mentioning, that mangrove snapper bite is going to be happening. You want to check out the nearshore and offshore ledges and rock piles, and a sardine or shrimp on a knocker rig should catch you some fish.
All right, now let's take a look at the east. Captain Mike Holliday, there are loads of places to take the kids fishing in your region, isn't that right?
That's true, Lauren. I mean, you can just start at the public beaches. Any access that allows fishing outside the swimming areas, piece of shrimp or a sand flea, you're going to catch plenty of fish out there on the beach. In Palm Beach County, the Lake Worth and Juno Beach piers are great places to introduce kids to a multiple species of fish as well as different fishing techniques, as is the South Jetty at Jupiter Inlet and the catwalk on the A1A Bridge in Jupiter. And then in Martin County, there's the catwalks under the Palm City and Jensen Beach bridges, the pier on the Jensen Beach Causeway, the piers at the Twin Rivers Park in Rocky Point. Just grab some live shrimp, put them on the bottom, or free line them with the tide, or throw soft plastics like a 4-inch Bass Assassin sea shad. In St. Lucie County, you have the South Jetty, South Bridge, North Bridge, the pier at the Little Jim Bridge, and a handful of small fishing piers on the Indian River down those mosquito impoundments on Hutchinson Island. And then you also have the Savannah's Recreation Area, which is a great spot to fish kids from shore, or you can rent a canoe and target bass or bluegill. And speaking of that, you know, if you just want to make it easy, just grab a 5-gallon bucket and a dozen live shiners from your local tackle shop. Head over to any of the small lakes or ponds in your area that allow public access. In Stewart, my kids like the pond at Home Depot. There's just a drainage pond there, dozen live shiners under cork. That means a dozen bass that they're going to get to fight. So just make it easy on the kids. Now, my other species, we're seeing a good push of tarpon around the inlets and on the beaches, as well as in their summertime inshore haunts like Big and Little Mud Creeks in St. Lucie County and the Moorings Channel up in Vero Beach. The fish are migrating into the area. Schools of fish are pushing along the beaches pretty much throughout the day. The fish are moving north up the beach. At dawn and dusk, you can fish the inlets before the boat traffic gets heavy and, get those fish that have stopped in those areas to feed. Topwater plugs like a Yozuri crystal minnow, that'll get you action from the beach at first light, and then a live crab, a threadfin, or mullet will work better during the daytime. Around the inlets, slow troll with live threadfins or mullet on 30-pound tackle, 60-pound fluorocarbon leader, and a 6-0 circle hook. And it seems like the best action in the inlets has been on the outgoing tide. And then for those fish up in the rivers, they love soft plastics at first light, so a DOA root beer colored Terrorize or a Bass Assassin 4-inch sea shad in a Houdini color. You just cast it to the rolling fish, retrieve it slowly with no action, and wait for you to feel just a little thump, and then stick them, and you'll see fish in the air. The average beach tarpon in my area, 60 to 110 pounds. Average river fish are more like 20 to 40 pounds. I got a photo there. That's Will Rice of Asheville, North Carolina. He hooked that tarpon on the beach off Palm Beach County. He was using a live crab for bait on 30-pound spinning tackle. So tarpon bite's going good on the beaches right now.
Sounds great. Now, offshore, you got a good bite, too.
We do. You know, that cold, dirty water runoff that we had last week, on the back of that, we got some beautiful blue water pushing in close to shore, and that's got a lot of sailfish following the water right up to the beach, anywhere from 30 to 90 feet of water. Last Saturday, we sight cast 2 fish in 8 feet of water off Jupiter, and then Sam Heaton caught 3 fish on Tuesday in 60 feet of water, just slow trolling live pilchards around one of the wrecks. The sails seem to be wherever the bait's holding, which is mainly over shallow structure. So when you catch your bait, hook one up, throw it out, and you're in the game. Look for free jumpers. If you see them, stop and fish that area. Most of the sails are big. They're averaging 40 pounds or more. They're schooled up, so when you hook a fish, make sure you keep more baits in the water. Now, the other bite that's really strong right now, and you're going to love this, Jim, cobia bite, on the nearshore wrecks is on fire from Jupiter to Fort Pierce. The majority of fish are coming out of 40 to 90 feet of water, either off the wrecks like the Halsey, the Draga, the David T, or the Gulf Pride, or along the reef line there, in Jupiter. And the fish are riding the bull shark. So when you see a shark, watch for the cobia in their wake. Get a chartreuse 1-ounce hookup jig or a die dapper, or a live shrimp, a live crab, or a Spanish sardine. Average cobia right now is 10 to 30 pounds. Captain Brent Bowman of Rio, he had a 50-pound fish that he caught off the back of a bull shark on Saturday. So a lot of fish are coming off the sharks right now.
And Mike, you've also got your bass report.
I do, and if you're looking for a good mixture of school fish and big fish, you want to head up to Palatka right now and fish the St. Johns River. In the mornings, you can target the school fish on the sandbars and the intersections, throwing topwater plugs or lipless crankbaits in any of the shad patterns, which basically means anything with white in it. Or you can fish a Carolina rigged worm in those same areas and do pretty well. And then midway, the bigger fish, they're on the docks, and it's particularly good when you get a northerly or easterly wind that's holding the tide in. You skip those big worms up under the docks and just hang on. If the water's dirty, you want to throw a June bug-colored worm. If the water's clear, stick with those green pumpkin-colored worms. So it's summertime on the St. Johns River, and the bass fishing's heating up with the summer heat.
Thanks, Mike. Well, I know the guys that are up in Palatka have been catching some big ones lately. I got that report myself. I'm going to take your Bennett Auto Supply hotspots for the East region from here. Captain Mike says you need to check the catch and release action at the inlets for snook. Live sand perch, thread fins, pilchards, or sardines are going to be your bait, and you're going to try to sight cast the shorelines for snook as well. Offshore, sailfish in 60 to 90 feet of water from the Loran Tower Ledge to the David T. Wreck. Live sardines or thread fins on 60-pound fluorocarbon leaders. It's working pretty good, and if you put a 7/0 VMC hook in the nose of that thing, you're going to catch those fish and be able to release them properly.
All right, well, thank you guys for all that good stuff. Coming up, we're going to talk to Ron Houston in the Southwest and check out some new products with Dave at the Workbench. And, of course, more with Rick Murphy.
Thanks, Lauren. When we come back, we got Tony Finn from the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. He's going to tell us about why it's so important to keep these scratch-off tickets coming to help these kids and how they're doing it through the Ocean Foundation.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by CCA, the voice of recreational anglers for over 25 years. The Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. Hookup Lures, premium lures for serious anglers. La Jolla Resort, a place for family and fishermen. And Maverick Boat Company, makers of premium brand boats. Maverick, Hughes, Pathfinder, and Cobia.
Hi, I'm Captain Rick Murphy, and you already know that whenever I need to repair my boat, my truck, or even my trailer, I'm going to head right over to Bennett Auto Supply. Bennett Auto Supply has a lot of quality products that's going to fit all my needs. Whether it's boat chamois, batteries, or spark plugs, they have everything there, and they certainly are a lot cheaper than most marine stores. So remember, Bennett Auto Supply, the best parts, the best prices at Bennett Auto Supply.
Want the power of a V8 with the highway fuel economy of a V6?
Yes, sir.
40,000 more warranty miles than an F-150 work for you?
Sure does.
And you get 2 years of scheduled maintenance.
Nice. Copy that.
Sold.
Chevy Silverado. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus Chevy truck owners can trade up for an additional $2,500 total cash allowance, or Chevy truck owners can choose cash allowance and trade up to get a total value of $8,500.
Dave, we got a bunch of new stuff that you like to talk about, but there's still some old stuff for kids too in the new product section tonight.
This is mostly not about new stuff. It's about new stuff for kids, and what you can get kids to fish with so that they don't mess themselves up and mess you up in the process. Because there's a lot of sharp hooks and stuff involved when you got a lot of kids around. First thing you have to remember is that kids don't have a long attention span at all. They maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. If they're under 10 years old, you don't want to be out there all day, and especially if you're not catching stuff. If it gets to be a lull, they're the first ones to want to start doing other things. Use their little rod as a sword or dig a hole with it. That's what's going to happen. So you have to go into it knowing that, you know what, this is going to maybe last 30 minutes, it may last an hour, but when they're ready to go, we got to go. Yeah. Otherwise, if you keep them there, they're going to start hating it.
The thing that I think you need to do is make sure that you take the kid home before he's ready to go home.
Exactly. You're the one who says, hey, it's time to go, or let's
it's time to
head
go
home.
And then they're like, oh, we don't want to go yet. And then, that they look forward to that next trip.
Right. And the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you want to catch some fish is you're going to use some very small hooks. Like, this is all the stuff that is laying in my backyard right now. You can tell, you look at this stuff lays out on my dock all day. And this is the exact same, these rods have killed hundreds of brim. So these tiny little hooks like this in my hand right here, I don't know if they can see it, get up on that, but a tiny little hair hook like that with a piece of bread on it or a little piece of shrimp or anything like that, a 10-aught, or
what really works
or
good
an
too?
8 or 9-aught, that's going to hook whatever eats it. It doesn't matter what it is.
That little red strip around the Oscar Mayer bologna.
Yep, that'll work.
That little piece.
That'll work.
Oh
too.
yeah, because it'll stay on the hook.
Yep. Now once you start getting them out of that range where you're using bread balls and little bits of bologna or whatever, and they want to start throwing lures, you want to pick lures that have their own action. You don't want to have the kid have to do anything to make it work. So
you've
gold
got
spoon.
A gold spoon because it has a lot of flash.
It has a lot of flash. It does all he has to do is crank it. He doesn't have to do anything else. All he has to do is crank it. Also, it has a single hook on it, which, once you start throwing treble hooks around and you got a little kid who's out looking backwards, he's going to nail you. And,
which do you want to pull out of you?
Exactly.
Or out of something else.
By the way, some people will actually put single hooks on the lipped plug.
Great
idea. If you have a lipped plug with single hooks on it, you could still hurt yourself, but you don't have the 3 hooks in your ear. You've only got 1.
Well, that's a whole lot safer than a bunch of little trebles.
Any lure with a single hook in it is also going to be a good idea.
Now this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, I like to use jerk baits, and when I have a kid along, the best thing to do is to use a weighted hook.
Okay.
Because they can cast them a lot further, and it adds action to it when they just jig it a little bit. That weight just sinking gives it an action.
Yeah, just
so they
that
you don't have to worry about the kids, putting action on the lure. It has it by itself. All they have to do is pretty much reel it in and let it go.
Now, what about little things like this? I see you've got some little spinners and things.
Yeah, like I said again, any kind of spinner, like a Met spinner or a little jig with a curly tail on it, where all they have to do is reel it back to you, cast it out and reel it back to you, they're going to have a lot more success on.
Cool.
Now, one thing that you have to remember, which here in Florida is a big deal, is the sun.
Okay.
Now, in Florida and everywhere actually, the sun is at its worst from 10 until 3 o'clock. So if you try to get out before 10 or after 3, you're going to mitigate a lot of the damage. Use a big floppy hat, a kid with a big floppy hat.
I might have to get one of these.
It makes good pictures. It makes for really good pictures. You're awful cute in that one.
Yeah, I'll
and
bet.
You wear a big floppy hat.
Roll it up like a cowboy.
Make sure you cover up real good with long sleeve shirts, sun gloves, the whole 9 yards, because it's very important for children not to be burned. Once you're old like us and we got burned as kids, our skin is ruined.
Yeah.
You got to protect them from very early on. Any dermatologist will tell you most of your damage has been done when you're a little kid.
And I've seen a lot of kids now wearing these little face skins.
I make my kids wear them.
They think it's cool
well,
because
it is cool.
It's almost like playing dress up or something.
Yeah, I make sure that all my kids have those on, and also a good waterproof sunscreen, because if you're near the water, they're going to be in the water. Yeah. And if you don't have something on you that's going to stay on when the water's on you, then you're you're not doing any good.
It's
Because
not
they're
doing
going
you
to
a
wash
bit
it
of
right
good at all.
off.
Yep. Keep the kids protected. Keep yourself protected with single hooks.
That's right.
And have fun. That's the
right.
main thing.
Try
Just
to catch
have
them
fun
and
with
catch them and get out.
Awesome. You know what? We're going to toss it right back to Lauren. Speaking of fun, because she's got some more fun for us coming right up.
I sure do, guys. But I tell you, it was a lot of fun seeing you in that floppy hat, Jim. That's
Bet
you.
it was.
That's a good look. But speaking of kids and plenty of them, we're going to toss it now back over to Rick. Hey, Rick.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm here with Tony Finch from the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. And Tony, you're the executive director.
Yes, sir.
So tell me exactly what the Ocean Foundation's thinking here.
Well, you know, the core mission of the Ocean Foundation is to do marine science research. But we also know that we have a role to play in getting to the K through 12, the younger kids, to teach them to love the ocean and to love the fish, but to do it in the right way.
Now, I know you got a couple guys here you want to give a shout out.
Yeah, well, actually a couple. First, the Mahogany Youth Group that we've been sponsoring, and then the Florida Fishing Academy. You got Jeff and Max, and Jeff caught a dolphin today, and Max caught a wahoo. So it was a big day on the water today.
Now, I also know, Tony, that you guys are very involved in the Florida Youth Conservation Centers.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about some of these things that you guys sponsor, some of the Guy Harvey stuff that you guys are involved in.
Sure. You know, this is the Florida Youth Conservation Camp Network, which is affiliated with, run by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. And they have this array of summer camps and all kinds of fishing camps around the state. And what we did is we helped them fund some saltwater fishing to sort of get kids out in the saltwater. And they do a lot in freshwater, but we want to expand their operation.
Now, you guys also fund protecting the oceans.
Yeah.
Tell me some of those programs that you guys are involved
Well, the
in.
Protecting the Ocean, it's a poster that we printed 10,000 copies of, and last year we handed out more than 10,000 of those posters all over the state of Florida, from the Panhandle all the way down to the Keys. We've ordered another 5,000 to hand out for a few school districts that we've missed out, and that's really for elementary and high school science classrooms and elementary media centers. And then we're going to have a new poster for the 2013-2014 school year. So when you go to our symposium in September, you'll see the new one.
And that's what's so cool. Like, Guy Harvey just does collectors posters. They do collectors scratch-off tickets, obviously. Now, Florida Sea Grant is a scholarship program that you guys are involved in.
We do, and again, that goes back to the core mission of marine science research. And there we fund university level and graduate students who are doing marine science projects, and we fund it so they can get done, and that contributes to our knowledge about what we need to do to sort of preserve and conserve the ocean.
Tony, I know that Guy Harvey, it's very dear to his heart because of him having a biologist degree.
Yes.
Is it, for me, do I really think that all the programs that he's involved in, it seems like he really pushes the sciences?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because at heart, he's a marine scientist. We all, for the most part, those of us know him as an artist because of the t-shirts. We see a bunch of them around here. We got some Guy Harvey fans here, right? Okay. All right. But most people, there we go. But most people know him as the artist, but in reality, he's a scientist. He's a PhD, and that's where he began this entire career as a scientist, and today, he's a scientist first and foremost.
Well, thank you for taking your time out of your busy
not
schedule.
Not at all, anytime.
Tony Finn, the executive director of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. If you want to know more about it, go on Guy Harvey's site. It can tell you everything about it, Lauren.
Hey, we're a couple of Guy Harvey fans ourselves, and I know another one, Captain Ron Houston. Ronnie, you have some suggestions for clubs and programs for the kids in the Southwest.
You know, actually, in the Southwest region, to get the children started, I strongly suggest to get involved with clubs or programs in the Southwest region. Always go to myfwc.com. Also, the Naples Fishing Club and also the Marine Industries of Collier County has similar events. The Red Snook of Naples is a tournament series for charity, also has children divisions, as well as the Gene Doyle and the Flats Masters Tournament Series. Also, the Charlotte County Chamber of Commerce has plenty of information when it comes to kids and fishing. But whether it's a tournament day or out to have fun, that info will get you started with most of the kids. Now, one thing we want to do always is keep it simple. It's not about the certain species, it's about keeping them interested in a hobby. Most beaches, passes, bridges, docks, piers, and residential canals is all you really need to put a smile on their face and to get them started. Use the basic concepts and info we give you every week as far as baits and species, and they will improve in time. The main goal with kids is spending time with them, and they will get better for years to come. And those are my suggestions, and watch the reports and baits we use to help them become better fishermen. But on the inshore side, we just got the announcement. Snook season on the southwest coast of Florida is fixing to open back up in September. And actually right now, all through the region, you want to concentrate on most beaches and passes. Now, on the beaches, you want to concentrate on the last 2 hours of the incoming tide and the first 2 hours of the outgoing tide, especially if there's blowdowns, pilings, rock piles, stuff like that. And the rest of the time, when you don't have the tides to work along the beaches, you want to concentrate in the mouths of the passes as long as you get good current movement. Baits include topwater plugs, gold spoons, and 4 to 5 inch live plugs. For the live bait enthusiasts, live pinfish, threadfins, and pilchards. You can also try walking the beaches early in the morning or at the top of the high, trying white and chartreuse bucktails. Typical size of these fish right now are 22 to 40 inches. And I got a prime example of some fish that were just caught in the last day. This is a picture. I have 2 snook pictures of a gentleman by the name of Lance Benson. And if you look at these pictures closely, I had the opportunity to fish with this guy. He has no legs. We threw artificial lures all day. The guy's got a lot of heart, and that's why I do what I do. And so thank you, Lance, for the opportunity to take you fishing. Now, on the offshore side, guys, Spanish mackerel. Marco Island to Fort Myers Beach. From the beach line to about 8 miles out, concentrating on wrecks, headpins, diving birds, and large herring schools that are out there right now with the calm weather. Once you locate these fish, white bucktails, silver spoons, lip plugs, and black and silver are all of in color. Also live pilchards. When you're fishing for the Spanish mackerels, use all the baits you're using. I obviously use the tracer wire. Typical size right now for the Spanish mackerels are 2 to 5 pounds. And a little further offshore and to the north, the red snapper bite, with the season still being over and still remains to be consistent. And the bite still seems to be better a little bit from New Pass to Gasparilla Pass, concentrating in depths right now of 115 to 140 feet. Guys I've talked to are still telling me small pieces of structure and rock piles are still holding these fish. Some areas a little better than other, but once you get on the right pile, plenty of fish to be caught. You should have no trouble getting a limit. Guys are telling me baits of choice hasn't changed in the last 2 weeks. Whole squids and live pinfish. Typical size of the fish right now are 5 to 12 pounds, but I'm still getting some reports in the last couple days with the beautiful weather, with some red snappers still up 20 pounds, and supposed to have good, beautiful weather for the weekend. Get out and get you some red snappers.
Wow, Ronnie, that's a fantastic report. I tell you what, those red snapper are good to eat too. Boy, I can't wait till we open them up here on the east side. I'm going to take your hot spots from here. The Captain Ronnie's hot spots for the southeast region. He says for inshore, you need to check out the morning incoming tides between Goodland and Gordon Pass, and you want to fish the intracoastal bays using a walk-the-dog lure. That's going to get you the most redfish. Now offshore, red grouper. Goodland to Estero. You want to check 50 to 70 feet of water along the ledges and hard bottom, and you want to use some cut squid, cut herring, or some sardines.
Okay, stay with us. When we return, it'll be Jim's turn to take over the show, and we'll also check in with Pat Deneen in the Panhandle. There's much more to come on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.
If someone wants to go to camp,
then they would go to our website.